I'm writing this with shaking hands. I've already called the police, talked to the building management, and I'm seriously considering moving out. But something inside me says this needs to be out there. I live alone in an old apartment building. It's usually quiet. Most of the neighbors are elderly. At night, the only sounds are the occasional car passing by or the woman upstairs dropping something in her bathroom. That changed 2 weeks ago. The first night, at exactly 3:17 a.m., someone knocked on my door. Not the doorbell. 3 slow, deliberate knocks on the door itself. I remember the time clearly because I checked my phone. I'm a light sleeper, but that night I woke up like I'd been pulled out of a deep sleep. I just stared at the door. Who would come at that hour? "Who is it?" I asked. No answer. I looked through the peephole. The hallway lights were off, but there was a shadow. Human-shaped, but too smooth, too still. I didn't open the door. About a minute later, the knocking stopped. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, I told myself it was nothing. Maybe a drunk neighbor, maybe the wrong apartment. But the second night, the third night, always 3:17 a.m. Always 3 knocks. On the fourth night, I got closer to the door and spoke again. "Wrong apartment." A very low voice came from the other side. "I know." The voice sounded familiar. I couldn't place it, but it sounded like mine. Just deeper, delayed. I stepped back and locked the door, added the chain. On the fifth night, I posted in the building's group chat, asking if anyone else had their door knocked on at night. No replies. In the morning, one neighbor responded, "Our door never gets knocked on. You probably dreamed it." On the sixth night, the knocks were closer. The door handle moved slightly. The chain rattled. That's when I noticed something else. Light was leaking from under the door, but the hallway lights were off. I opened my phone camera and pointed it toward the floor. Through the gap under the door, I could see the hallway. There were no feet. There was light. There was a shadow, but nothing touching the ground. On the seventh night, I called the police. It was 3:10 a.m. The dispatcher said they'd send a unit. At 3:17, the knocking started again. This time, it spoke. "I know you called the police. If you open the door, I'll leave." My phone slipped out of my hand. I didn't open the door. The police arrived 10 minutes later. No one in the hallway. They checked the security cameras. Nothing. No shadow. No light. Before leaving, one of the officers turned to me and asked, "Was the person knocking shorter or taller than you?" "What do you mean?" I asked. He didn't answer. On the eighth night, I stayed awake. All the lights on. TV playing. A chair pressed against the door. At 3:17, there was no knock. Instead, a piece of paper slid under the door. Written in my handwriting, it said, "Tomorrow you'll open it. Tonight is the 9th night. It's 3:12 a.m. as I write this. The light is back under the door. If I don't post again tomorrow, please don't open the door at 3:17 a.m.